All right then. So I've just been to the post office to post a letter, and the guy says to me, excuse me sir, can you wear a mask? Well, that's fair enough, because, you know, like, if you're not wearing a mask, there's no problem in asking you about the mask. And I said I've got an exemption, and he said, well, can you wear a lanyard? And I said, well, I don't need to wear a lanyard. He said, yes you do, otherwise we won't serve you. This is in a post office, not just like any old private shop. So I said, look, I've got an exemption, I've got asthma. I suffer with severe asthma. If I wear a mask, it makes me dizzy. And he said, well, I've got asthma, I still have to wear a mask. And that really annoys me, because it's not like a pissing contest to see who's got the worst asthma and then who, you know, who is exempt from wearing a mask. The government's website says that if you can't wear a mask, if you struggle to wear a mask for any reason, then you're exempt. It's a medical exemption. I tried wearing a mask at the beginning and I didn't get on with it. I couldn't do it. So he continued to argue and say that that I was being selfish, and I said it was the same as excluding a disabled person because you don't want wheelchairs in the shop or crutches or anything. And he continued to argue, and I said to him, look, you know, I don't want to have to video this, but I will video this confrontation if you know, if you don't provide me with service. So I started videoing, and eventually he agreed that he would serve me, but he continued, as you'll probably hear on the video, it says that he thinks I'm selfish because I won't wear a mask, because even though I'm declaring I've got a medical exemption, you know, and all the other customers all chip in as well and take his side. You know, it's offensive, it's out of order. Then he said to me at the end of it, after I finished the conversation with him, I stopped videoing, and then I was being served, and then he came over to try and threaten me not to put it on social media, the video. So I said to him, well look, if you apologise for saying that I'm being selfish for having a disability, then I'll reconsider putting it on social media. And he refused to apologise and said, well, you know, we have provided you with the service. Yeah, well, that's not good enough. Yeah, you don't say that a disabled person, somebody who can't wear a mask, who has a medical exemption, is being selfish because they're not wearing a mask when you believe that you've got asthma or whatever, and you think that justifies me having to wear a mask because you think you have to wear a mask even though you've got the same complaint. Well, you don't know the level of asthma that I've got. Okay, my relatives both died. Two of my relatives died with asthma about my age. Yeah, I'm not wearing a mask and risking a lung infection from wearing a mask, and also struggling to breathe for the sake of being humiliated in a shop by a storekeeper, and he was the manager of this store, and the customers. Well, I'll be looking into it and seeing how I stand legally on it. Okay, so here's the video.
Just by asking our customers to wear a lanyard.
Right, you know, you do understand that, you know, the government's legislation is that all you have to do is express that you are exempt. I say I am exempt. I am exempt. That's all you need to know. You don't need to see a doctor's certificate. I don't need to wear a lanyard.
I'm not asking to see a doctor's certificate. That's not actually at any point.
Well, I don't need to wear a lanyard. Yeah. Right. To say that I'm not going to get services at a post office as well, yeah, which is kind of like almost a right.
You're not keeping your distance from us.
I am. I'm standing behind the line.
And in regards to legislation, it's regarding the size of the building. We're a tiny little store.
Look, we've had a big dispute. You could have served me, and I wouldn't have even had to discuss
we're
it.
We're a tiny store. We can't keep social distancing. The government has recommended that you keep a good social distance. If you can't keep a good social distance, you wear a mask.
Yeah, but I can't wear a mask. I've got asthma, and it makes me feel dizzy.
Okay.
So are you excluding me from that service?
No, we wear it 9 hours a day. I know. Okay.
Are you going to exclude me from service because of a discrimination for a disability? You are.
If you are that disabled, it says on the website, if you physically can't put the mask on.
What website?
On the government one that you keep referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine, you carry on.
What, you're going to serve me?
Yes, selfish people, yeah.
I'm not being selfish.
You are being selfish.
I'm not being selfish. I've got an exemption for asthma.
Fine then, okay.
Okay,
If asthma makes you exempt, you know, I'm sure all the doctors and nurses that have got asthma, all of them are off work at the minute, aren't they? So if you're accept, you accept.
I think it's out of order.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I won't video you. It's alright, go for it. I'm not videoing you, so don't worry about it. Sorry?
You're breaking the law by videoing.
No, I'm not, because you've discriminated against me, which is an offence. Yeah, you are now, but you said that you weren't going to serve me, which is an offence, right? I'm recording it as evidence. No, I told you I'm exempt. Right. And you said you weren't going to serve me, and it's only because we've had this discussion on video that you now say that you will. Thank you. Now, to be fair on him, I rang him up afterwards and said to him what the post office policy was, and he agreed with me, and he was apologetic, and he says that, you know, it's quite stressful working in the shop, and that, you know, it's a bit of a rough estate where he works, and he gets all sorts of disputes and conflict in there, and he has to deal with it, you know, and I understand that. I'm sorry you have to deal with that, but you know, it's probably not a great idea to provoke the customers by doing things which aren't within the rules. So he's a good guy though, and I like this guy. I accepted his apology, and I said let's sort of shake on it, kind of thing, you know. It was on the phone, so figuratively. He did ask me not to put it on social media, but you know, I think it's important that it does go on social media, not as a criticism of him, but as a criticism against anybody who tries to stop you from gaining services that are essential services by trying to make rules up that are tyrannical, and they're not even just rules. You know, we have to make a stand, and this is the way we make a stand, is by showing people what's going on. Anyway, all the best.